name is Robin Pasternak. I'm a professor at the University of Central Oklahoma. I teach ballet. So I had my daughter, and about 5 hours after she was born, we kept noticing this nurse coming in and looking at my daughter and then leaving. And she wasn't one of our nurses. She would just come in and look, and after a while I'm like, is there something wrong? And she says, well, your daughter has trisomy 21. She has Down syndrome. Yeah, there's two types, but my daughter has what's called trisomy 21, excuse me. Really, it's just an extra chromosome. What it does is it can cause various, genetic changes or deformities and problems, all throughout the body. But one way or another, the learning process is slower. My daughter is having extreme problems with speech. The way it happens is she can't process the information and get it out verbally. But she completely understands everything. She knows what's going on. It's that processing and then bringing it back out into conversation. I think some of the other definitive qualities with Down syndrome is that it affects the shape of the eye, the placement of things like the ears. It creates a different look, shorter limbs. I mean, there's just some apparent things that people can just see. I feel like with this ballet, we always need to bring awareness about people with special needs, and I don't feel like we look at this perspective of the family. And being that I have this experience and we're all getting into the point where our children are turning into adults, and there's this wall that a lot of us are hitting, that there's nothing beyond the schools. I mean, once they graduate high school, then what? Independent living and these kinds of situations, there's been just such a drastic change that there's this sense of there's nothing. So I'm bringing yet like another level of awareness. I'm just kind of like learning as I'm going, and the ballet's changing. So, it went from this awareness thing, and now it's going into these experiences. And I think, a parent like that just had a special needs child, I think they need to hear this broad story. We're gonna rehash this thing.
I'm Rebecca Wallace. I composed the music for this piece, and I created the videos to be projected on the stage behind the dancers. The music for this, there's 4 parts of it, and I was kind of inspired by the story that Robin was telling me, the story that she was trying to portray through the choreography.
So I'm like, hey Rebecca, you're going to do a project, and then it just kind of turned into, well, I want it to be awareness. Oh, well, I'm going to interview these families. Well, like I said, the families were bringing more components to it.
The music is kind of a timeline. It starts with finding out that your child has Down syndrome or a special need, and kind of the fear of that, and the grief or any kind of mourning period, anything that they're feeling at that point. So the second piece of the timeline is loving that baby and having those first years where you meet them and you see like who they really are. And then the third piece, it goes into more difficult times of finding all the paperwork you have to do, all that you have to find, the PT, OT, speech, all the therapy you need, the help, the support that you need to find, and it's not always there for them. And the fourth piece of the music is about bringing awareness to adults with special needs. After high school, they don't have as many opportunities, and things like just getting a job, or having programs where they can go and spend the day while their parents are, their parents can't be with them all the time, and when their parents get older and aren't able to take care of them as well, there needs to be step in place for them. And so that's what the fourth part is about, is bringing awareness to, once they graduate high school, that they need more. Thank you.
we didn't find out about our daughter having Down syndrome until after she was born.
Daniela's diagnosis was when I was about, I think I was like 7.5 months pregnant.
Whenever I didn't have any prenatal testing, and whenever I had her, she was 5 weeks early.
The doctor came in and told Jack, and he got the news first, and then came in and told me.
So he wasn't crawling, right? So, and that had started like in 4 months.
Then they came in and told Danny and me that we were going to have a mongoloid. We don't call that in America anymore. We don't call them mongoloids.
And the doctor said, I'm seeing some signs. And I thought, oh my gosh, I knew she was going to say that. And whenever they put the little pink hat on her and she's coming towards you, I thought, oh, there's that look.
It was a shock, and then there was grief, and then there was a lot of fear because we didn't know what we were going to be faced with.
It was like an instantaneous thing, and then it just went away.
They asked us at the time if we wanted to abort her. They were willing to take her at 7.5 months. And so we told them no, this is our daughter. And they kept calling her an it. And we told them that her name was Daniela Joanne.
So it was just really shock, or even earth-shaking to us because we didn't understand what was going on.
Hi, I'm Daniela Joanne Montgomery. I am 24 years old. Today is my birthday. Yes.
The phone rang, and one of the kids answered the phone, and then they came in. They said, "Mom, it's for you. Lady in El Reno has a child with Down syndrome, and she wants to talk to you." And I said, "Tell her thanks, but we already have one." And so that was my kind of sarcastic recognition of the fact, and then we all just died laughing until we cried.
We hadn't laughed until that.
No, it was too scary.
Yeah.
Let's educate these kids. Well, we had all kinds of different disabilities. So the teachers and we just decided, let's figure this out. We can do this. And so we hit or miss on different tasks on how to teach them how to read, or a life skill, or how to teach them to do math, money skills, whatever. It was like, okay, who can do this, and how are we going to teach it?
Then all of a sudden she says this like words of wisdom. You're like, oh, my goodness, thank you. You're right. I was sweating the small stuff, and it is all small stuff. So right, you're right.
Yes.
And he takes her to the Children's Center. What else do you do?
Oh, it's the Joyful Sound.
Joyful Sound. You've got Joyful Sound on Wednesday after Wings, right?
Yeah.
After Wings.
And so, don't forget social club.
Oh yeah, social clubs here. Yeah.
I always feel happy.
He offers so much in his quiet, innocent way.
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good while I'm with my friends.
I'm going to give you this information. Don't read it all at once. If you do anything, you get them on the DDSD waiting list, and you sign them up with Singer Star. Then you go home and you fall in love with that baby, play normal as long as you can. Because those are the easy days. Because then they grow up and it's hard. Because there's nothing for them once they graduate from high school.
And my biggest fear was that we wouldn't be able to have her in our home, wouldn't be able to raise her. I mean, that was the era when they were just automatically institutionalized.
I even felt like I had to push them because they would say, oh, she doesn't need PTOT speech, she just needs, and I'm like, no, she needs it all.
And she still has her balance issues from that surgery.
He gets his needs across, but I can't have a conversation with him.
The Down syndrome mommy kicks in and you ask for everything and you re-ask and fight, I guess, for everything. And it was a struggle because their expectations are not very high.
That's one of the things I think that most people don't know what to say or how to act.
You know, I don't walk through a restaurant and judge. And whenever Madison walks through, they are looking at her. And
Little kids would just sit there and stare at her, and then she didn't want to look at them because she knew that they were staring, so it made her uncomfortable.
You know, when you look at a lot of husbands, they leave as soon as they find out there's a special needs child.
Every parent that has a special needs child worries about what's going to happen to that child when they pass.
perfect little families. I can't, really relate to that because I'm like, there's so much, that we don't know about others. Ours are just visual.
I do not believe she's ever going to live by herself. If we're talking about being independent, living in home by herself with no one around.
So that's a huge concern of mine, is that with all of these young people that I know and the parents, we all have the same struggle as to what's going to happen.
I think that most people, they carry a certain tuning fork, so to speak, and you know what, we need that in our lives. Like I was saying before, I mean, Shay has definitely brought to an awareness on things that are important.
Shay was in the back seat and they were just kind of bickering. And so then all of a sudden they hear this voice from the back seat say, well, I'm in a good mood. It just kind of brought them back to reality.
It's mind-boggling to see that finally things seem to be opening up where there are more and more activities available to our adult children, and society doesn't think our special needs adults have something to contribute. And that's another thing we need to push, is that yes, everybody has something to contribute to society.
They're human. They are just like you and I. They're different. Each one of them individually is different. She was in gymnastics, we did ice skating, we did t-ball, we did it all. So after that, then she was very healthy, and I thought, we've got it made.
I'd like to be a nurse. Take care of sick kids. Make sure they're healthy.
She finally realized that, yes, I'm different, and she made some great friends.
I feel pretty happy most of the time. I have a good life.
I loved hearing the stories. I have a daughter with Down syndrome myself, so I thought it was important to have that awareness and hear the stories of other parents and stuff. So.
All of the adults that were in the video, we actually get to work with every day at Wings. And so it was exciting. We get them as adults. It was exciting to hear the stories of how they came to be.
Well, I really, really enjoyed it. I love Robin and her creativity and professionalism. And we've been with Robin for, I think this will be the 9th year of her Dancing Down syndrome. So featuring all this was very heartfelt and tender for us to watch and be asked the questions and relive our experience. So, and we have a lot of joy having our children and watching what she's been able to do with them and create that beautiful work. The ballet, that was great. So we really enjoyed the performance.
It was a really great opportunity and a really great experience. Robin, of course, her daughter has Down syndrome, and I worked with them over the summer with the Dance for Downs system. So to see the interview and to see how the music correlated with it was really interesting, and her concept was amazing. We were portraying children, and we also had people that were portraying mothers and expecting parents, and so it was a really interesting experience to have.
We have a sister that has multi-spectrum Down syndrome, so it was kind of cool because we related to it pretty heavily, I think.
Yeah, I liked that the emotions expressed by the parents were something that we have gone through as like siblings of somebody with Down syndrome, and we all have those same fears and experiences, and it's touching to see how much we're alike with all of these families, how it's all connected.
Yeah, and we have kind of the same feeling with our sister Aubrey. Pretty much everything she does, she's just super joyous about. So like anything Aubrey's happy about, it's just kind of like compounded. And I kind of got that same feeling with a lot of the families in this piece, is that, you know, they had siblings in their family that brought something that was different but really special to their family and made their family unique. And that's kind of how I felt about ours.